Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is GW and I'm very happy to see you here, and today I would like to talk about GW number 7, and this one is going to be all about knowing one really significant thing that is going to allow you to let go of the addiction, whatever addiction you're having, to let go of it easier, right? Now again, if you would like to skip to the summary section or maybe the most important points or the most significant points of this video, then you can find them either all around me or in the description box below or in the progress bar. Yeah? Now first of all, let's specify what type of addiction I'm talking about. Well, at least in my experience, it helped me to deal with the emotional addiction, and my addiction was being angry actually all the time. And I didn't even know that I'm addicted to this type of emotion, yeah? But you have emotions that are more obvious, more extroverted, for example, being addicted to drugs, alcohol, or porn, yeah, something like that. But there are also some other emotions that are more subtle, and these are, for example, being addicted to foods, being addicted to your phone, or watching useless videos on the internet, stuff like that, yeah? And also emotions, like for example, if you're criticizing somebody and you are in this judgmental type of state for like every single day, then this is also an addiction. Or if you're very sad, then how do you know that this is not an addiction? Probably it is. And or being angry like I was, for example, for a very long time, yeah? So first of all, what's important to understand is that if you're trying to eliminate an emotion, and if, for example, you are criticizing everybody, yeah, and you are reading, for example, a book how to not criticize, how to not be judgmental, not only that, you are also practicing meditation or practicing some mental specific tricks or techniques in order to not want to judge somebody, yeah, or to deal with this. And then, but for some reason you feel that on some days it works, yeah, and on some day it doesn't. Not only that, on these other days, it comes to you like this emotion comes to you so fiercely, so powerfully that you forget about anything, about everything that you've learned, yeah, everything that you studied, and then you feel like on square number one. And so you might think that these like techniques and these books that you were reading and they kind of didn't work, and then you think that it's not working, and then why should you bother, yeah? But actually that's not true. They are working, but it's just not, maybe you're having not the right expectations about it. And for that I would like to present some metaphors in order for you to understand what's actually happening. And the first one is like with batteries. Like imagine that they're like any type of emotional tendency, like let's say with anger, like me, yeah? Anger, or the tendency of anger, has 5 batteries, yeah? And you are here, and what you're able to see is just the closest battery that you're having right in front of you, yeah? So you're not able to see this battery, that was actually the first one, yeah? But you're able just to see this one and to deal with this one. And again, just some common knowledge is that these batteries, of course, they're going to be tempting you and provoking you. And if you are indulging in whatever they try to convince you to indulge in, then of course they're going to be stronger, and the opposite is true as well. Each of these batteries are equally, if not stronger than each other, but they are actually separate entities, not just one, as maybe you might have thought in the past, as I have thought as well. And so these batteries or capsules, they have like their own percentages, and like I told you, like with these 5, yeah, the first 4 ones are full 100%, yeah, and they are their own separate entities. And for example, this one, the last one, yeah, has like 80% of it, and of course it wants to get 100%, and be as strong as it can be, and then to create the sixth one already, and then the seventh one, the eighth one, yeah? And these batteries have been created by you actually indulging in whatever emotion that they are standing for. Yeah, like for example, if you have been an angry person, then every single minute or every single hour that you've been angry at somebody or something or yourself or the situation or the circumstance or whatever, or the country, yeah, or the culture, it doesn't really matter what you're angry at, but the emotion is the most important. So anytime when you were feeling this emotion, you've been feeding these batteries, and that's how these batteries came about. But the interesting thing here is that when you are dealing with the fifth battery, for example, yeah, and you are actually winning the battle, like between you and the fifth battery, and I mean the battery is trying to provoke you, but you're not indulging into it, and then that means that the battery is just losing its power. From 80 it becomes 70 or 60, and then lower and lower. And then it might seem to you that you are progressing, and you are progressing actually, and but the thing is, when you are done with this battery, yeah, then you're gonna have the fourth battery. The fourth battery. And this battery, when you're gonna start to threaten its existence, yeah, it is going to go berserk, and it is going to affect you and try to influence you as much as possible, maybe even stronger than this one. And you might feel, maybe in your head, you're thinking that, okay, the more I'm dealing with some type of emotion, the more I'm dealing with some type of addiction and try to eliminate it, then the stronger I become, right? Because the more I practice, the more perfect I become. Yeah, practice makes perfect. But then in this case, maybe you've been just dealing with the first battery, so to speak, or the first capsule, and now you're dealing with the second one. But the second one is really, really powerful. And when it has the power to sometimes win the battle between you and it, yeah? And when it does so, then it feels like, oh, come on, man, I was working so hard, and it seemed like my skill of dealing with this type of addiction goes up, but actually I feel like I'm again back at square one, yeah? And like I didn't study anything, I didn't do anything, and then I get angry, and I'm going back to the position where I was vulnerable, where I was like feeling like a child, feeling marginalized, feeling desperate, yeah? However, what is like really significant to remember here is that the worst enemy of these batteries is not intensity, but consistency. The thing that it's afraid most of is just you being there every single, or maybe not every single day, but regularly. Yeah, like for example, every week for 2-3 times a day, you just sit down and deal with this emotional tendency of yours. And the more you're doing it, the more it's going to start to erode and erode and erode, yeah? And then you will start to feel the emotional independence that you craved for more and more and more. So the only thing that you want to do is just continuously do this work upon yourself. Like you are doing it okay. Like whatever you've been studying in order to eliminate this addiction, it's a great addition. I want to say addiction. It's a great addition to your mental toolbox, to your mental toolbox, how to deal with it. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. The only thing that you want to do is just continue doing. So if you are doing it and then you see not that much of results, for example, in your life, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. That just means that maybe you're stepping into a new chapter, so to speak, and you're dealing with the new capsule or the new battery that fiercely is trying to protect itself, because it doesn't care about you. And this addiction does not care about you, it cares about itself. However, it tells you that it cares about you when it doesn't actually. Another metaphor is, imagine a grenade. Yeah, and the grenade, when it explodes, it just becomes a big amount of very small pieces that just spread everywhere, yeah, in every possible direction. And then this grenade might signify like the emotion that you're having, yeah. like sadness, for example, and this emotion just spreads everywhere. And what you want to do is just to go to different parts of your psyche, of yourself, and then just to deal with these pieces one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one, yeah? Every single time when you are going to be dealing with it, yeah, you might improve your skill of dealing with it, but there are going to be some parts, some pieces that are maybe a little bit stronger than your current skill at that moment of time. But don't despair. The only thing that these pieces, again, these shards, are afraid of is consistency. That's it. That's the name of the game. And yeah, it's nothing so hard, actually. If you think about it, like what you want to do is just to have this type of strategic thinking, just thinking in the future. Like the only thing actually that matters here is that you are doing it consistently. So it's a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. All right, now another metaphor that you can use is remember the onion, yeah? The onion analogy is that it has many layers, yeah? Like layers upon layers upon layers upon, it's not that big, of course, but it has many layers. So imagine that you're having like 5 layers, just like with these 5 batteries. And maybe you just, like for example, if you're having some type of emotion that in the past you would have indulged in it, but today you actually won the battle between you and this emotion or this type of addiction, yeah? And then what your mind might be thinking is that you're peeling this 5th layer, yeah? And now you're going to be dealing with the 4th layer, but actually that might be also not the case. Maybe in order to fully deal with layer number 5, you need to win the battle with it like 3 times, for example. And that might be a tough pill to swallow for the ego, but then actually it might make your journey a little bit easier, because now you understand that if you are dealing with level number 5 just one time, then you're not going to go to level number 4. But if you believe inside of yourself that layer number 5 requires you to deal with it just one time as opposed to 3 times, which is the reality, then you're going to get disappointed. You're going to get disappointed that you're not getting to level 4. And when you're not getting to layer number 4 after dealing with layer number 5 for one time, just one time, then the chance of you thinking, oh, you know what, screw it, significantly increases. And that means that you're not going to be consistently doing the work that you need to do in order to eliminate this addiction. So just like this battery requires you to fight with it, basically, so to speak, maybe 3 or 4 times, yeah? The same thing with this the onion layer. You need to deal with it a couple of times until you get good enough in order to get to level number 4. Until you're able to take this responsibility that is required for you to be at level number 4. Because maybe right now you're not ready yet. Alright, so let me give you my example. I was a very angry person. Maybe, maybe people that know me that would not really say this, because outside, visibly, I would be quite a calm person. I would at least create an impression of a calm person, but inside of myself, I felt like lava. It was inside of me, and I would get like very angry, and I would get also judgmental of other people, just trying to internalize whatever I actually wanted to tell them. Yeah, whenever, for example, they didn't react in the way that I thought they were supposed to react, yeah? And only later I understood that this is also actually my problem of expecting other people to react to how you want them, which is actually egotistical, because how do I know how they are supposed to react? How do I know that my standards of how other people should react are the right standards, yeah? How do I know that they're not supposed to react the way they are reacting right now? Maybe they are reacting the perfect way, given the fact that they're having the culture that they've been born in, the parents, the early environment that they had, the values, yeah, the beliefs that they are having, the friends that they had in their life, and so on and so forth. Like taking into account all of these possible factors, how did I come to the conclusion that they're not supposed to react the way they're reacting right now? Maybe that this is all perfect, and maybe my mind is just creating a story that this is not perfect, huh? But anyway, I digress. Here we're talking about the addiction. So this addiction was for a very long time. I didn't actually even know that this is an addiction. I thought that I'm being like righteous indignation, yeah? I'm doing the right thing by being angry at people that are not supposed to react in a moral way or something, yeah? But actually it was my problem and my addiction, and I didn't admit this actually for a long time. I didn't even recognize it. And what I remember, like right now, I don't get angry so easily, yeah? However, in my past, I would get triggered and being angry, and quite often not even angry by other people, like in physical reality, but just in my imagination. Like, for example, I'm doing something, whatever, especially when I'm doing something which is the opposite of like a negative environment, like I'm relaxing myself or playing a game, for example, or speaking to my friends, I would still get triggered. For some reason, these emotions would come back to me, and I would feel like a child, would feel vulnerable, would feel desperate, and all of these possible things. And I would hate it. And then I would start to like I studied a lot to let go of these types of emotions. But then I noticed that still these emotions would come to me, and I thought this is a am I doing like something useless? Like, does it really actually work? But then for some reason I just felt that I should continue working, yeah. And then when I continued working, I still actually had these moments of like being vulnerable and not being able to respond back and not know how to think, and being caught in anger, just being stuck actually in anger for a couple of hours sometimes, right? Even in my imagination. And it was a very painful experience, but actually it wasn't that bad, because now I understand how to deal with it, and that consistency is very important. So what I noticed with this type of work, the more consistent I was, the less I was triggered. So in one day I was triggered, let's say 8 times, yeah, quite a lot of times a day, triggered to feel this type of anger, like there's something was trying to provoke me to feel some type of anger, yeah. But then the more consistently I was doing this type of work of letting go, for example with Sedona method, right, then I found that less and less and less of these moments have been occurring in my life. So instead of 8 times, they will start to occur 6 times, and then 5, 3, 2, 1, yeah, and then there's no moments, or maybe one moment every, I don't know, a couple of days, 4 or 5 days, for example, yeah, which is way better than like 8 times a day, right? But I noticed that it works only when you are consistent enough and when you believe that in the future it's gonna erode itself, yeah? And while you are eroding it, you might have moments when you're feeling back at square one, even square zero maybe. Yeah, just not feeling that you've done anything, like feel stupid and feel small and feel vulnerable. Like you might think to yourself that I might have done nothing, and just sit there and just wait for this anger emotions to come to me, yeah? But actually that's not the case. It's okay for you to feel this type of vulnerability, and it's okay for you to feel like you haven't done any steps, yeah? But the trick is actually to keep going anyway. And this is the key to your freedom, to your liberation, to your freedom from this type of addiction. This type of strategic thinking that you're gonna have is gonna allow you to be free. All right, so thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. And if it was, then please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this. And if you think that it might help somebody else, then please share this video. And if you have any questions or maybe suggestions, then please leave a comment down below. And again, thank you very much for watching this video. And here is the summary, and see you in the next one.